major chord his love, and she got it right. What she played it on came from the light.
Welcome to Grandma's Journals. This channel began with a collection of handwritten journals, pages filled with everyday moments, quiet faith, family stories, and a kind of wisdom that only comes from a life well lived. These journals belong to my Grandma Peggy. Inside them are her thoughts, her prayers, her joys, and her struggles. Moments that may have felt ordinary at the time, but now feel priceless. My hope is that as you listen, you'll feel connected to her story and maybe even your own. Thanks for being here. This is Grandma's Journal.
The beauty of the song is joy in her eyes. The major chord is love, and she got it right.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Grandma's Journals. It is a beautiful sunny Sunday here in Georgia, and I had a great weekend. I stole my mom, Jennifer, who you guys have heard about, for those that don't know her on this podcast, and my oldest sister, Tabitha, for the weekend, and they came out from Arizona to help me do some stuff around here. So it was an awesome weekend with them here at my house here in Georgia. So, but they flew home today, so they are back, and I think Sundays are just going to be a good day for me to be able to record my weekly episode. So we are back. We are in 1983 today. So we have had some exciting things happening in Grandma and Grandpa's life. In 82, we had 2 new grandbabies born, and I have a feeling there's going to be some in 83 as well. So we're just going to jump right into it and see if we can make it all the way through 1983 in the life of Peggy Hunt. All right. January 9th, Sunday, 10 a.m., St. David's State Conference, 1983. Bishop Dale Mortensen was released as the Elfrida Bishop, with my husband, Alec G. Hunt, and Bobby Straub being released also. I know Alec was a little downhearted from being released. He loved his position, and the spirit that he felt when meeting with these brethren was truly special. But we will have to grow in different areas, and now it is time for a change. Alec and Bob served for about 3.5 years, and Bishop Mortensen had served for 10 years. Oh my gosh. 10 years as bishop. The new bishop is Wallace Thompson. Darrell Willis is first counselor, and Michael Thompson as second counselor. These 3 men are very spiritual and faithful men in the gospel and in the priesthood they hold. I know new changes bring good things in a ward. Also, our son-in-law, James Hargrave, was ordained a high priest right after conference. The Hargraves had a picnic lunch, and after conference, we stayed and ate lunch under the trees in the parking lot at St. David. January 23rd. In priesthood meeting, Alec was set apart as assistant to Brother Rufus D'Albany, with Brother Bobby Straub as an assistant. Alec came and got me out of Mutual to take me to the priesthood meeting so I could see him set apart. On the way, he told me I was to talk to the brethren. I almost went out the front door and went home. Sometimes his sense of humor gets him in a little trouble. After church, we traveled to Cochise to eat chicken and noodles with the Hargraves and had a little birthday party for our oldest grandson, Clint James Hargrave, who turned 9 years old on January 24th. He is a Dallas Cowboys fan, so we got him a Dallas Cowboys shirt and bought him a book with children's scripture stories. Clint is learning to play the piano and is doing very well. We are proud of him, as we are all of our grandchildren. January 29th, 1983. A potluck dinner and a program was held for the outgoing bishopric in the Elfrida ward. Many people who had been in the ward years before showed up from Sunsites, Pomerane, I don't know. The food was delicious and the program was excellent. Funny stories were told about each of them, the bishopric, and at the end, a book LeGrand Richards, beloved prophet, was given to each from the ward. Bishop Mortensen, Bobby Straub, second counselor, and Alec Hunt, first counselor. The new bishopric were the ones who gave the dinner and program. We also received a phone call from Lori and Bill, our daughter and her husband. Bill called to thank us for his birthday present. We were surprised he got it so early. Sometimes the mail gets in on time. January 30th. Alec was set apart to teach the family relations class. He is excited about teaching the class, but a little frightened also. We get to teach together, him teaching and me helping. We have attended these classes before and have really enjoyed them. It will be a special treat to be doing this together. And moving into February 26, 1983, Alec G. Hunt and myself, Peggy B. Hunt, left Elfrida at 5:30 a.m. to meet our daughter, Lori W. Fricky, and husband, Bill E. Fricky, on Mount Lemmon in Tucson to go skiing. Bill is a good skier and has been skiing since he was 8. He is now 27. Lori is skiing pretty good, but Alec and I have only been once before. Lori was so excited to think her mom and dad would go skiing with her. It was difficult at first. Alec got a little lightheaded and a pain in his chest, so he quit after a few runs. But I was so bent on learning. I stayed with it for 4 hours until I could do it pretty good. My left arm was so sore the next day I could hardly lift it. They have a hand lift on the bunny hill or small slopes that you practice on, and you grab it as it comes by and it pulls you up the hill. It was fun and the kids were so thrilled that we went. On our way home, we stopped at the Benson Hospital to see Alec's mom. She was operated on Friday morning, the 25th. She had adhesions removed, and they also took her uterus and ovary out also. She was doing pretty good when we visited with her. Alec's mom, Blanche, is a fighter, so we know she will do good and be with us soon. And I posted some pictures of those while I was reading along there. So if you aren't watching the video, you can go back and see those pictures of them skiing. So super fun. All right, March 12th, 1983. The Mutual girls and Sister Ann Harvey and myself had planned a hike in the mountains. We only had 2 girls show up in order to go. Sister Harvey's daughter was visiting her from Hawaii, and so she came along. We had a beautiful day, and we hiked 5 miles to the top of Echo Canyon. We got a ride back down with a nice couple who were out here from Pennsylvania visiting their daughter in Sierra Vista. We were all tired, so we welcomed the ride. We made the hike in 2 hours, which was not bad for me since I had not been for 5 years and I am 48 years old. The 2 girls that went were 13-year-old Krista Thomas and 14-year-old Marta Ball. March 14th through the 18th was spring break and no school, so no seminary. Whoever reads this will probably wonder if I do anything besides church work. Well, I belong to the Lioness Club and have been in that organization for almost 2 years. And March 16th, we had the privilege of going to Sierra Vista and having some of our new members sworn in. It was really a beautiful meeting. We had our we had our regional president there to swear in our new members. She is a Mesa woman and really an outstanding person. We had a potluck dinner, she put in parentheses, delicious, and a beautiful program in bringing these ladies into the Lioness program. And I'm sure everyone has heard of like the Lions Club. So I think this is like the women's version of the Lions Club. Our president at this time is Lynn Workman, a young gal with a lot of spunk. All right, March 17th, 1983. I went to the baptism of Sherry Parker, who was a non-member 15-year-old that the seminary and the Mutual have been fellowshipping, and it was great to see her come into the gospel. We could see a change as we all came to my house to have a flower arranging class. Not too many girls came, but we had fun, and our new member did a beautiful job in her arrangement. These are the blessings that come from the gospel. March 19th. St. David's Stake Mini Conference was held March 19th at 1 p.m. in St. David's Stake. Sorry, let me grab my editing pen here. Need to correct that. We signed up for the day, attended classes, the popular one being creative dating given by a young lady named Patty Valdez. She also sang a song, The Rose. In fact, she sang it twice. The first time the mic wasn't on. Then that would be helpful. After a few classes, we broke for games and fun and snacks, then continued on for more workshop classes. Then the kids went to different homes to change for the dinner and dance. They had a Mexican dinner that was delicious, and Patty Valdez pleased us all again with a beautiful song. Then our main speaker, Stephen Webb, did an excellent job. Then the tables and things were cleared, and the dance took place. Our kids from Alfreda Ward were great and were really an example to others to see. The trip home was tiring and it was late, but everyone had a good time. Eddie Salton, a new member from our ward, taught one of the workshops, powder puff mechanics. He is pretty good for a guy in a wheelchair that has no legs. He is also our 17 to 18-year-old Sunday school teacher. The kids love him. I teach that same Sunday school class right now. Ours is 15 to 18, but same class. Super fun class. All right, going into April 1st, 1983. Friday was Good Friday and school was out. Alfreda Ward had the annual ward picnic. It was a potluck with games for the kids and an Easter egg hunt. April 2nd. It was the hunt reunion in Safford at the park. There wasn't as many there this year, but it was real nice and the weather was beautiful. We had it at the park but in a new area. There was a skating rink and a duck pond. Our granddaughter, Brooke Ann Hargrave, loved the duck pond. So there's definitely not a skating rink at the, sorry, I'm inserting here. I know it's, for anyone that watches the video can tell when I'm like pausing because I'm like looking up, not reading the paper. But then I was like listening to it on just the podcast the other day when I was in the car. Because I had never like gone back and listened to it, and I learned a few things, but I realized that sometimes it might be hard for those not watching the video to know like when I'm stopping and talking for myself versus when I'm reading grandma. So I need to be better about like differentiating that. I mean, I think the cadence of my voice does change when I'm reading versus when I'm just talking. So hopefully everyone is following. I did realize too that like the volume kind of like goes like I'm really loud and then I'm quiet and then I'm loud. So I'm sorry. Obviously, I am no sort of professional. I don't have equipment. This is just me recording straight on my computer. No like external microphone or anything. So it is what it is. I'm sorry if you like have to adjust your volumes while you're listening to me. But anyways, the Safford Park. I don't believe there's a skating rink there anymore. Not that I'm aware of. Obviously, this was a long time ago. But the duck pond is still there. So we went to the duck pond lots of times when our Geordie girl was little. And she also, like Brooke, loved the duck pond. Anyways, okay. The food was delicious, and it gives me a chance to learn more about Alex's family. Each year, more kids get married and more kids come, and it's still hard to figure out who is who. I do have a handful of pictures. I don't know if it's specifically from 1983, but I do have pictures of one of these reunions of like different families. So while I continue reading, I'm going to post those up here and it'll say like whose family it is. So you can see some of the Hunt family who came to the reunions. Okay. But everyone is friendly and tries to find out who belongs to who. Clint James Hargrave, our oldest grandson, 9, and myself went roller skating and we had so much fun. All of our children and grandchildren were there, and we all came home together. The next day, April 3rd, was Easter. We all listened to conference, hid eggs for the kids, and invited Alex's mom, Blanche McCullough, her husband Doc, and Alex's sister Martha Louise, and husband Wendell over to eat. Take that comment out of there. Everyone brought potluck, and the food was delicious. We visited and had a nice day. The kids all left and went home about 3:30 p.m. The house was quiet and still, and we'll miss the smiles and hugs and kisses and love until the next time we are all together. She's talking about watching conference and it being on Easter. So for anybody that is not aware, this year, 2026, our is it called semi-annual? Because it's twice a year. Church conference is on Easter this year again. I personally love when it falls on Easter. I just feel like it has a special spirit. So if anybody is wanting to tune in and watch conference, Easter General Conference. It does fall on Easter this year. So, and it's always such great talks. So I hope everyone has time to tune into that and listen. All right, April 10th, 1983. It was Sunday. Our dog, Major, a big golden Afghan hound dog, was put to sleep. Oh, that's sad. He has been with us for about 12 years. The last 2 years, he has really suffered with arthritis. Sunday, he could not even get up his back legs, dragging them. I couldn't stand to see him in such misery. A young man by the name of Bruce Wetton came and put him to sleep and buried him on our property. We will miss him. He was a fun dog, and we had many happy hours with him. He was jealous of our grandkids, and they didn't like him too well, but he will be a dog we will never forget. We had a fireside for the youth at our home this evening, and a couple by the name of Harry and Anna Dressler spoke. She was raised in Germany and remembered the after effects of the war and told us many hard times. It was very interesting, and it makes you proud to be an American. April 21st, 1983, Cameron Eric Fricky turned 1 year old. How I would have loved to come to Mesa and give him a big hug. Such a precious and special little guy. April 24th, we went to visit our friends George and Evelyn Nelson. We had a lovely dinner. Their daughter Danielle got Miss Benson and will go to compete for Miss Arizona. So we heard all the excitement about that. We miss these good friends, but get to visit them often. April 31st, we had a high priest party here. It was a potluck, and it was delicious. We had a good crowd and lots of fun. We also had a bake sale that morning for our mutual girls to make money for camp. I love, just how much Grandma and Grandpa did. They were always involved in church get-togethers and potlucks and doing all these things, and they just, seemed like such fun, welcoming, people. So, we know they were, but it's fun to read about it and how much they did back in their 40s. All right, May 1983. May 6th, Alec and I left for Mesa at about 9 a.m. We went to Tucson to St. Mary's Hospital to visit his dad. We got him a new doctor, and they put him in to run tests and change his medicine. He had gotten real weak. He was not happy about the whole thing and was a little upset because we didn't stay longer. But Alec was trying to get me into Mesa for a surprise 30th anniversary party and also to make a phone call before 5. We left and told him we would return on Sunday. Bishop Mortensen came by just as we were leaving, so it was a little easier to leave. We arrived in Mesa at Lori's at about 3:45. I kind of knew something was going on, but I thought it would be Saturday night, so I stayed in my Levi's and t-shirt, and the girls fixed a candlelit dinner for Alec and I, and then they all left, and Alec and I ate alone. I really wish they would have all stayed and ate with us. Then Alec took me to the mall to shop. I knew that was odd. He is always so tired after a long trip. Anyway, they had an art show, and we saw it, and then we went back to Lori's house. We went back to Lori's house, and it was full. All my family and friends had come to wish us well, and we got beautiful gifts from a lot of the family. We stayed the whole weekend, and I also enjoyed a nice Mother's Day. We had a barbecue, and at about 1 o'clock we left for home. We stopped by the hospital in Tucson and visited Alec's dad, Clark Hunt, for about 2 hours and returned home to Elfrida exhausted, but the weekend was worth it. We have a great bunch of kids, and just to prove it, they gave us a 16 by 20 picture of all them grandkids and it is beautiful. Of course, a beautiful bunch of kids made it this way. May is such a busy month. We had our seminary kids' graduation on the 11th and a bread making on the 18th for our girls. We had high school graduation on the 20th. So I actually have that picture that they were gifted for their 30th anniversary of their kids and all of their grandkids right here. It's so cute. I'm not in it because I haven't been born yet. But it's so freaking adorable. Look at everybody in that picture. All right, June 1983. This was also a busy month. The Lions and Lioness worked at the goat show. we had the concession stand and had a lot of fun. There was wedding showers and a kitchen shower in our church kitchen. I don't know what that means. There was wedding showers and a kitchen shower for our church kitchen. The new building for the Sunsites Ward is finished, and they had their open house. June 4th and 5th was a beautiful conference with Brother Hartman Rector Jr. He is fantastic. We also had the Sunsites dedication Sunday after conference. The whole weekend was so spiritual and uplifting. Father's Day was quiet, but we had a nice dinner at Jeanette and Jim's on the 19th. We took care of all of Jim and Jeanette's children on June 26th through July 3rd. We set the week up like a camp and had duties and fun things for each child to do. They got up excited, cleaned their rooms, and were ready to start the day. Clint was 9, Tanner 6, Justin 5, and Brooke Ann 2. We had so much fun and hardly any fights or disagreements. On July 15th, we celebrated Brooke Ann's birthday. She is 2 years old, and she had so much fun. Jeanette made a beautiful cake. She is getting really good with cake decorating. And her great-grandparents were here, Clark Hunt and Ruth Hunt, and Doc and Blanche McCullough. Her grandparents, Alec and Peggy Hunt, her Aunt Lori and cousin Cameron, 1 year old. Lori and Cameron were here all week visiting, and we had a fun time while she was here. And of course, her mom and dad, Jim and Jeanette, and her brothers, Clint, Tanner, and Justin. August 1983. I can't believe it's August already. The summer went so fast. We celebrated Alec's stepmom's birthday, Ruth Hunt, with a dinner and a gift. August 11th was our son's 26th birthday. It don't seem like it when they are not here to celebrate, but I made him a pair of dress pants and sent to him and thought of him all day. But I always think of all my children every day and always remember them in my daily prayers. I guess you always think of your children and want the best for them, so they don't have to struggle so hard, even though you know it's the struggles that teach them and help them to overcome the problems in life. But you always want them to get ahead and learn to keep out of debt. It's hard to watch them struggle, and yet we had to do the same thing and never thought a thing about it. We had our field and track day and our fireside, and school started yesterday, the 22nd of August. I will be starting seminary next week on August 29th. I really have mixed emotions. This will be my 4th year, and they are probably getting tired of me. I learned so much and hope that I teach them enough to learn. It's a big job and a scary one, but I will hang in there. It seems I'm always thinking of my kids. Steve called the other day to tell me he got his pants for his birthday and they were a perfect fit. But he also told me that someone swiped his car out of the yard at work. It seemed like they had one bad thing after another, and you do worry. You worry because they get into debt, and you worry because they don't have enough money, and you worry about their health, and you worry about your grandkids, and you wish so bad that you can help. All I do hope is they stay active in church and do what the Lord asks of us so that we can all be together in the next world. Time is so short here, and there is no time to waste on petty things, so I guess I have to quit worrying about my children so much. I just hope when Alec and I are gone, that the most important thing in their life would still live in the eternities, and not to cry over us being gone, but to remember we are waiting for them on the other side. And I hope that whatever material things we leave here upon the earth, that there is no fights or quarrels over who it belongs to, but that it is divided equally and to who needs what the most. I have seen too many kids that have ended up hating each other over the property that was left behind. I want my kids to be close and love one another always, and to learn to overlook each other's faults and just enjoy each other. That's a pretty, I feel like that post is a pretty, or that entry in her journal is like a pretty special one. Like of course, at the time that she wrote this, they were young, their kids were barely out of the house and barely starting their own families. And, they were young. They were, how old were they in these? 50-ish? But now, reading it, Grandpa is gone, and he has been gone for longer than I like to think about, and grandma's days are numbered, to say it nicely, we know she's not going to be here forever. So I just feel like right now, at that time, them not being here and these wishes that they have for their children and their grandkids and their family, seemed so far away. And they were, they were so far away. They were 50 years ago. And, but now like that time is here. So I don't know. I think it's just kind of special reading those. And, I think thankfully her kids are close and, they do all love each other. And I think like us cousins and stuff could be closer, of course. But, anyways, I thought that was really special to leave. And, she said when we're gone, like, don't cry over us being gone. Hopefully my sister Chelsea doesn't mind if I share this, but Chelsea actually had a dream about Grandpa the other night, and I won't like tell all the dream, and I definitely had dreams about Grandpa as well. And but she said first thing she heard was, "Hey, sugar." And I think for any of us girls in the family, that was like the first thing you always heard from Grandpa was, "Hey, sugar. You're looking prettier and prettier every day." That's what Grandpa always said. And after she was telling us the dream, I was like, I have no doubt that those will probably be some of the very first words I hear when my time on earth is over and I get to go see Grandpa again is, "Hey, sugar, how you doing? You get prettier and prettier every day." Anyways, kind of cool to read. Kind of cool to read. Just her hopes and desires for her young family at that time. Now that we're all grown. So, all right, continuing on. Just let a few weeks go by and you forget about your journal and those little important things that happen along the way. In early part of September, we were still counting odds and ends of string beans and apples. In October, we celebrated Blanche's birthday, which is Alec's mom, our son-in-law's birthday, and Jeanette's, our daughter, and my mom's birthday. Lots of birthdays. November 5th, 1983, my best friend was born. Chelsea Ray Hunt, daughter of Steve and Jennifer Hunt, was born, making our 8th grandchild. How special it is as each child is born, making you realize how important your life is and your influence is carried on. Jennifer wanted a boy, but I bet she wouldn't trade her for one right now. The girls are all beautiful girls and a lovely family to be proud of. Steve is very proud of his girls, but they both say they will keep on going because they would like to have some boys to raise. Each child is so special, and so special to Alec and I with their little personalities and cute little ways. It is hard to sit back and watch the struggles your kids have raising their little ones, but that's what it's all about. We love them all and miss those that we don't see too often. And I personally can say I am grateful that my parents continued on to try to have that boy because, I'm the next in line. It's going to be born in a few years in these journals. So if they would have called it quits, I wouldn't be here. So thankfully they kept trying for that boy. So cliffhanger if they ever got it. Who knows? We might find out. Just kidding. All right, on November 11th, Alec had his big 5-0 birthday. The kids all got together and bought him a portable phone so I wouldn't have to hunt him up all the time to talk on the phone. We had gone to Mesa to see the new baby, Chelsea Ray Hunt, and to help Alec celebrate a little early. So Grandpa is officially 50 now. On November 24th, we celebrated Clark Hunt's birthday. He was 70 years old on Thanksgiving Day. We had a small gathering for Thanksgiving and invited Lydia Ty to have dinner with us. The Hargraves were there with their family and Granddad and Ruth. We would have loved to have the whole family, but that is not possible. We have to share with the others so they can have their kids also. Doc and Blanche also came and ate with us. Period. That's the end of that one. December 10th and / all of December 1983. And this is the last entry for 83. Another birthday and another year older, but I'm still able to keep up with youth at 49 years old. That is still pretty young. At least I think so. I agree, Grandma. 49 is still quite young. I still enjoy teaching seminary and mutual and going to activities and dances. Christmas came early and I made most of my gifts, sewing right up till the day before. In between, I helped with a wedding for Ron Morris and Janice Allen to be wed on the 23rd. I did the decorations and made the ring bearer suit, made a beautiful tablecloth for the table. The 24th was my daughter Lori's birthday, and the 28th was my daughter-in-law Jennifer's birthday. We left Christmas morning having breakfast with Jeanette and Jim and on to Mesa to celebrate with Bill and Lori and Steve and Jennifer. We also celebrated the girls' birthday at the same time. We had nice visits with everyone and had Christmas on Sunday. It is so special being with your children. All right, that's a wrap on 1983. So lots of good things happening in the life of Grandma Peggy in 1983. It's super fun to read as like my siblings and my cousins are being born, and being able to just kind of like relive those days firsthand. And reliving all these days. I absolutely love it. So anyways, all right, I hope everyone has a fantastic week, and maybe depending on how the week goes, I'll put out 2 episodes this week, maybe not, don't hold me to it, but we'll see. It could happen. So happy March, because it is officially March. And I love you all.